Hey friends, Dawn here from Tech Savvy Creative. We are on day 5 of our 5-day Spring Clean Your Tech Challenge, and I am so excited to dive in with you today. Today we're going to be tackling one of those larger challenges, which is our files. Now, this one's going to take you some time, just like some of the others have, but again, it's going to be so worth it. Never again will you be looking for a file that you swore that you had, or never again will you be digging through all of your searches and your files and all these different folders trying to find that one client contract. So today we're gonna dive in to our file systems, and you're gonna see behind the scenes on how I organize my files and how I take care of it when things just get way too crazy. So let's dive in.
All right, friends, I hope you have a coffee or some wine or whatever you want to enjoy, because this is a doozy of a task. So we're going to be organizing the files on our computer, mainly our documents and downloads. Maybe that's on Dropbox or Google Drive, or it's on your computer. Those are the files that we are going to tackle right now. So as you can see here, my Dropbox is a mess. We have a lot of cleaning to do. So when I am going through one of these phases where I am cleaning a lot of things, what I like to do is I like to dump all of my files into a clean folder. Clean me folder is what I normally call it. I think I just made one right here. There it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all of my files. To do that, I'm clicking Command A. And then I'm going to come in here and uncheck any files that I don't want to move. So for example, I have a shared folder with my assistant. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that doesn't move. Clean Me needs to stay. And I'm going to keep, nope, that one's fine. I have one more here I am going to keep, and it is out of my folder structure, but that's okay. I'm going to keep to share. I'm gonna leave that there. Okay, everything else can go. So I'm going to take that and dump them all into this Clean Me file. Okay, right click, clean up by name. There we go. So I have my folders that I know need to stay, and then my Clean Me folder. Now, so our first step in tackling our computer files is to create a folder structure. Now, I have used a little note here to outline my basic folder structure that I'm going to use and create. I have somewhat of a folder structure, although it is a mess right now, so I'm going to be starting fresh. And if you're in my situation where things are just kind of really crazy, I recommend that you do the same. So here's a general outline of my folders. For example, I have a Dawn Elizabeth Studios folder, one for Tech Savvy, personal, resources, which are like ebooks and course content and all of those fun little downloads that you get. And then I also have one for financials and taxes. I could put that under personal, but I do kind of have a mix of personal, Tech Savvy, and Dawn Elizabeth Studios for that, so I keep it in its own separate folder. Now, under those, I do have some general folders that I'm going to create. Keep in mind, when you are creating these folders, you may decide down the line that you're going to add some or remove some. This is just a general outline to get us started. Also, for this purpose, I also recommend just keeping it to a couple levels here. We can definitely deep dive and get them even more organized inside of these folders. However, I'm going to focus on just this structure here, and then I will go back and continue to organize further if I decide that's needed. So start basic and start simple and go from there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started in creating these folders. So the next thing I'm going to do is to move these folders into their correct home. I personally use Dropbox to store all of my documents. There's a lot of other great solutions out there. Some people choose to use documents on their computer itself. Some people use something like iCloud Drive or Google Drive, or you can use Dropbox. Whichever works for you is perfectly fine. Don't feel like you need to change. However, if you can use some type of cloud-based platform, you will find that extra layer of security knowing that your files live somewhere off of your computer. That will be very helpful in the situation your computer stops working, or if you have multiple computers that you constantly access these files from. Okay, so I'm going to open up my Finder window. Now, I'm going to take these right here and I'm going to dump them right here. All right, clean up by name. Okay, so my folders are now in their correct home. Let's move on to step 2, which is cleaning out our downloads folder. Now, our downloads folder, if you're anything like me, your downloads folder is a hot mess. It is full of stuff. You probably downloaded screenshots and memes and font sizes and all whatever. I don't know. There's so much junk in my downloads folder that never leaves. So right now what we're going to do is we're either going to send it to its new home or we are going to delete it. So I'm going to open a new Finder window. And I'm going to drag it side by side, just like this. And then I'm going to go to downloads. Now, don't judge me, y'all. There's a lot of junk in here. I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning up. Again, if I want to keep it, it's going to go into its home over here. And if it don't want it anymore, straight to the trash. All right, let's get started. All right, so now we're going to tackle our documents folder. Now, if you're like me and you use a tool like Dropbox, this folder's probably gonna be very empty. But do go check and make sure that there's nothing here that needs to be moved or saved. So one thing you might have in your documents folder are these files that are related to an application in particular, or something that says logs. So for me, it's Lightroom and also Zoom. Go ahead and leave those there. Now, Zoom is where your recordings go. That's where I have it set to go right now. So that's fine. I went ahead and got rid of all of the recordings that I no longer needed. However, I am going to leave the log files and the Adobe files there. That's information that those tools need to run on this computer, and I don't want to modify those right now. Okay, so our next step is to do the same thing to our cloud-based drives. Now, I personally use Dropbox. I use it very heavily. That's where I store all of my stuff. And I do that because I use multiple computers and multiple devices, and this allows me to access those easily on all those devices. It also allows me to collaborate easily with my assistant and my editor. So that was just the tool of choice for me. This may be Google Drive for you. This may be iCloud Drive. As you can see, I do have iCloud Drive on my computer because I am a Mac user. However, I do not store my files here. There's not really anything that makes one better over the other. It's really personal choice and where you are right now. If you're not loving the one that you're using, or if you are not using one at all and you want to look into one, do some research and figure out which one fits your budget, which one is best for you. Okay, so next we're going to be tackling that folder. So again, for me, this is Dropbox. And I am going to be diving into this Clean Me file because this is where I dumped all of my stuff. So, all right, we got some work to do in here. So I'm gonna go refill my coffee cup and get this done. Okay, I have a couple of my old folders that are moving to their new home, and they are very large because they have a lot of photos in them. So those are gonna keep going. But other than that, everything else has been moved. Now I'm just waiting for things to sync up since this is a Dropbox folder and it does have to sync to the online cloud version of the Dropbox account. So I'm gonna let that go for a little while and I'm gonna get started with the rest of my day. Now, remember, this is a process, and for this video, I didn't even dive into each of these folders. I just kind of went high level and put, Dawn Elizabeth Studio files with Dawn Elizabeth Studios and personal files with personal files, and then after this, I will go back and clean it up interior to those files. So even though I got them all into their correct base home, I still have some work to do. So I found this easier to do just because it's in one location. It's easy to drag things to their right folders. But you might prefer to get it done fully the first time. Again, this is totally your call and whatever works for you. But at least having these files in their correct homes, whether or not that's high level or low level, it's going to be very helpful.
Friends, you've done it. How do you feel? Do you feel free? Do you feel refreshed? However you're feeling, I hope it is good. I am so thankful that you've watched with me through these last 5 days. And if you need to go back and read any of those guides or follow any of those videos again, you are more than welcome to. They will always be available on our YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us for the Spring Clean Your Tech Challenge. Again, I'm Dawn with Tech Savvy Creative. If you have any questions for me or you would like to subscribe to our future videos, click the like button below and subscribe to our channel. I'll see you next time, friends.